Welcome back, dear listeners, to yet another episode of Steve's Attic Songs. We've just listened to a little bar or two from last episode's Toodaloo, which was my favorite track so far. I think it was the highest scoring track.
Yeah, 4.3 out of 5 on the Bangerama scale.
So if you're interested, please listen to that. That was a good one. Today we have Steve and David calling in from Geneva.
Hi.
I invited you on because you love music and you've got a very open-minded and broad taste for music, and you've spent a lot of your career working around digital rights management. I guess is that an easy encapsulation without drilling down into too many details? And you really care about artists getting money for their work. You're fighting for them because it seems like the rest of the industry is there just milking musicians.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think my path with music is I've always been a fan, but I think more professionally over the last 25 years, I've always worked in digital rights management, as you said. The most complex version of that I worked on was I was the architect of YouTube's Content ID platform, which scans everything that gets uploaded to YouTube, and it looks for who underlying copyright owners might be. In particular, it finds music, and it figures out all the licensing that is required to make those user-generated uses acceptable. Before that, I worked at Listen.com, where we built the Rhapsody music service, which was the precursor to Spotify. They still operate as Napster. And so I've had very much sort of a geek's path through music, making the back end of things work. But as James said, I was very motivated to do that because what I want to see happen is for music to be properly financed, and that means that the money has to flow back to the creators of the music. And we really turned a thing like YouTube, which could have just been a copyright disaster, into a copyright opportunity that created tons of new revenue and allowed the music to be more free in the way that it was used. I'm not a musician, but I've worked around people that are passionate about music over these 25 years. I've worked with a lot of editorial people that were programming radio and creating other editorial assets. And for each genre, that there was a passionate expert who really cared. And that if you sat down with them, that you could usually find with any genre something incredible, or from any era. And that it's really just about opening up your mind to that expertise. And when you like somebody and they tell you that they're deep into alt country, and you ask them, what should I listen to? You care in a different way, because it's about making a friendship with that person. And if you can't hear the music they love, well, you're unlikely to be able to hear them. So that's been my sort of personal journey with all of this. I've known James since we were kids, and he asked me to come on and have a go at the show. So we'll see what we come up with today.
Today is going to be another track from Steve. What we've agreed to do is not talk about genres or types of music, because that has just caused carnage in the past. It'll be music.
It's just music. I'm not going to be any more specific than that.
Let's have a listen.
Today's song is the somewhat mellower Still Sleeping in Cafes.
Okay, wow. I'm curious.
My morning Joe, wondering if that sun will show. Old guy shakes his head at me like there's something I should know. But it's fine, I am wine, disapprove as well. I don't mind, don't need to be told it's time to leave all this behind. I'm still sleeping in cafes, dreams of city nights back when we'd wake up hungry but happy. I know we'll do it all again. I'm still holding on, the only way I know. Now you're gone, something pulling me backwards to the places we once shone. Scratched your name on a tile. The waitress asked why you've not been in a while. Softly squeezes my arm and says, well, it's good to see your smile. I'm still sleeping in cafes. Dreams of city nights back when we'd wake up hungry but happy. I know we'll do it all again. I remember when you said we won't have very long. I told you you were wrong. I told you you were wrong. I told you you were. I'm still sleeping in cafes. Dreams of city nights back when we'd wake up hungry but happy. I know we'll do it all again. I'm still sleeping in cafes. I stare at your empty chair. We'd wake up hungry but happy. I stare at your empty chair. I'm still sleeping in cafes. I stare at your empty chair. We'd wake up hungry but happy. I stare
Wow.
at your empty.
I'm still sleeping in cafes.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that.
It's certainly not my usual fare. The thing about this song is, it sort of highlights what I've been seeing as a problem in that when I come up to this attic to write, I don't always come up with an upbeat song. And it's maybe more, in this one, a little bit mellower. The chords are actually jazz chords rather than your 3-chord thrash. I really like the song. Mm-hmm. Don't want to throw it away. You know, maybe it's not as upbeat as I need, but I still have to bring it here, and it's right to do that. Not park it because I've got some preconceived idea of what a banger is.
Is this your banger ballad?
Can you have a non-upbeat banger or a more mellow song that is a banger? We sort of think yes, but it's possibly less likely. So I guess today is where we sort of find out.
Okay.
Well, I guess the distinction I would make between a banger and a hit is that a banger, to me, summons more an idea of something that would get people to go out on the dance floor or to move around. And I would think of it more as a hit. Like, I don't know, if you think about a song like American Pie by Don McLean, that is an amazing song that has incredible longevity and that people really listen to, but it doesn't necessarily get people on the dance floor. So I don't think of it as a banger. I just think of it as like a timeless hit. A banger is more like, just yesterday I was listening in the car with the kids and we were listening to a bunch of hip hop, and it was things like In the Club, from 50 Cent. Like when that first came out, just the rhythm of it made people jump up and feel like, I need to move right now.
Your definition of a banger sort of aligns with ours. We previously defined it as a song that gets the audience into a frenzy, but basically moving as one to the music. So that's very similar. To actually then translate that to what that would mean in a sort of a slower song, maybe frenzy is too strong a word, but you can still have a collective reaction from the audience, whether it's swaying of arms, whether it's in the old days turning your lighters on or whatever.
Your phone on.
You can still have that. You can tell I'm trying to sort of soften the blow here. It does sort of fit in with a lot of the things Taylor said in the last podcast. I had to go away and start committing to singing, spending a lot more time doing it, and that meant...
Steve, it's night and day. It's night and day. Really?
Yeah.
I was so impressed.
It was a good opportunity to put into practice what I learnt with Taylor in the last podcast. It's a little bit mellower, it's a little bit chilled in the morning after a big night out. It's deliberately targeted at that feeling. I've had a great night out, I'm sitting in a cafe, I've got a cup of coffee, and I'm just coming down from whatever it was.
Okay. Yeah, and I get that. David, how did that make you feel?
Is there a tear in your eye, David?
It is. I'm a weepy kind of guy, though.
Of pain.
I'd say that I enjoyed listening to it. That it was, it felt whimsical, and it reminded me of the Beatles' sort of White Album era.
Yeah, totally.
You felt a bit of world weariness, and you felt the experience of the person. And I think in terms of the banger scale, if you will, that where it connected with that, for me, was in that it felt very melody-driven in the way that old Beatles songs felt like there was a melody that carried you through. I would say, coming into this, if you had asked me what a banger was, I would have been talking more about what's the rhythm section doing, and how is that stirring me. But as I listen to this, it reminds me that there are other things that might make me really connect to a song. So is this something that's going to make me jump up and dance? Probably not. But at the same time, if I'm already in a playful mood, I could see sort of waltzing around the kitchen to it. So
I think when I was giving it a final listen, and I mean, obviously I'm asking that same question as well, is it a banger? I could sort of imagine people singing along to it and swaying along to it. That's about as banger as it got with me.
But I think that's a valid way to connect with people, and I could imagine if I knew the song well and it coming on the radio, it would feel very natural to sing along.
Yes.
And so that's its own connection the music is achieving, which is quite
that's good. That's good.
They're different than trying to get people on the dance floor. But they're different challenges. But it doesn't leave you flat. It feels like there's something to connect with there.
Yeah, it felt warm. I'd be interested to hear what you think of previous tracks, previous to Taylor, because as I was saying, it really is quite night and day. I'm amazed that in the space of a month you've taken aboard a lot of the things that Taylor has said, and your voice is more confident, it's richer, there's more emotion in your delivery. It really is. It's fantastic, and
good.
You can make a ballad something that you want to spend time with. That song it's a warm, cozy, and which is a type of hook in of itself. It doesn't have, I agree with David, the usual upbeat banger, which is the easiest hook, because that one really talks to your lizard brain. There's a certain beat that just gets people moving.
Yeah, agreed.
So I love the lyrics, love the delivery. I like the guitar less. I found that it jarred, and I didn't really think it found its place.
In terms of the production, I ummed and ahed about that a lot. When you think about what's in it, you start off with the harmonica. The harmonica is back. This song is in G, and I have a G harmonica, and I'm going to use it. There's the accordion solo in the middle, and I was fortuitous enough to visit my brother in the last month, who has a far better selection of synthesizers than I do. Oh. So I was able to play it there. Obviously, I wrote the melody of the solo, but we put one of his accordion sounds on it. But that sort of fits well with Parisian, sort of cafe type sort of feel to it.
Totally.
And then the sort of harmonica comes back in. I sort of take your point about the guitar. I tried a soprano sort of trumpet. I tried strings, but I just like jangly guitar in the end. And I suppose that fundamentally it's just a sort of a preference, and I went with that.
Yeah.
But I found myself turning the mix down. So I do have some sympathy with what you're saying there, in the fact that I was almost not tuning it out, but I didn't want it to be the thing you listen to. I wanted the vocal to be the thing you listen to. The other thing Taylor said last month was she didn't like the ending because it was just like a final chord, which she felt was a little cheesy. Obviously, this one has a fade on it, and it didn't originally, so that was another slight tweak.
I think the fade works because it's more like it's sort of nostalgic as a song, and so it feels more like you might be wandering off down the railroad tracks.
Yes.
So what would you score it out of 5?
Yeah, I think it'd be like a 4 or 5 for me. I'd be happy to listen to it a bunch. Cool. It's not a one and done.
Wow, that's great. That's always a question I ask, is whether you would be willing to listen to it again. So that's a good yes. So you're saying 4.5. Nice.
David, if you can get your kids to listen to it. I mean, one of the issues we have is we haven't had many young people. By that I mean, people under the ages of.
Well, I'm on.
12. Apart from you, James. apart from your mental age.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to know how they.
I would say that this song, I think, would score well with my daughter, who's more poetic and based, and I would say it would probably score poorly with my 13-year-old boy, who's much more in a video game, very online, very modern mindset. I'll definitely give them a chance to listen, and I'll send you a voice message.
Yeah, that would be great.
Brilliant. So what are you going to score it, James?
Well, I'm giving it a 4.
Really?
A resounding 4.
Okay.
I think it's for all the reasons I said. I think it's fantastic to hear how your voice is improved. I like it. It's a lovely ballad. It could have come from a Beatles songbook. It's got those tones to it, and I'd be happy to listen to it again. But it's not the banger I'm looking for.
Oh, you're looking for a particular banger.
Yeah, it's not. It's something that makes me want to stand up. And Toodaloo had more of it. I want to feel it in my body, and I felt this one a little bit in my body, a lot in my heart actually, which was nice. Mm-hmm. But we're talking banger. I want to be feeling it in my body first of all.
Mm-hmm. Probably only give it a 3.5 myself.
Okay. Wow.
Don't get me wrong. I like the song. And thank you for saying all those things about the production, because I spent a lot of time on that, so it's good to know that made a difference. If you have a song, albeit that whips an audience into a swaying, emotional sing-along, I still struggle with the fact that that's a banger, which is sort of to your point. There has to be a little bit, let's just call it below-the-waist action going on, rather than cerebral and heart.
I would definitely agree that coming into this, my basic idea of what's a banger is something that is starting with the rhythm section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this probably really has to have, for me at least, really a bass line that carries you, and it can't just be the drumming. Then there's sort of almost a melody in the bass that underpins the sorts of songs that I really think of as bangers, which are songs that bring up my heart rate, that make me want to move, that make me excited. The music fits the words, and so you couldn't just put a heavy bass track on top of this and call it a banger. Like there's a cohesion, artistic cohesion between the music and the sentiment that you're getting across, and so on that level, it feels authentic and real.
So in summary, I think what this is the after banger. Do you know what I mean? It's a chill down after the event, so I don't think it can really qualify as a banger.
Absolutely, it's more the sun's coming up now, and please don't push my excitement buttons anymore. Like, that would just be deeply irritating. Now I just want to chill and let the sun come up and think about getting to bed.
I think it was an interesting exercise. We said we'd do it. We'd go for something a little bit more mellow, but I think we're going to go upbeat from here in.
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest banger, the one where you're going to get the highest scores quickly, are the ones that speak to the lizard brain.
Yep. So that's where I'm going next.
So first off, we have to introduce ourselves. You can't just... Okay. My name's Ariga. I'm Isabel. I'm David's daughter. And I'm Isabel's best friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, in my opinion, the song is a good song. I would listen to it. I would put it in a playlist, but I personally would not listen to it every day.
Yeah. I think mainly the problem is just if it has to be a banger, the chorus has to be something that you really remember.
It has to be catchier.
Like, way catchier. And I think maybe just to, change up the beat a little more on the chorus so that it's more memorable. But otherwise, I really loved the flow of it. It was really
nice. Dreams of city nights back when we'd wake up hungry but happy. I know we do it all again. I'm still sleeping in cafe. I stare at your